Here are the top posts from ExplainLikeImFive on the 24th of October 2019. Cragglefish. EXplainLikeImFive. How come when someone is trying to remember a word or a name, they can pinpoint odd details like what letter it starts with or how many syllables it has, all without remembering the actual word? Quid pro quo. Think of memory as working like a big net of associations. When you learn one particular bit of information, you immediately start associating it with a lot of other types of information that are similar. These associations help you track down information again, because even if you cannot recall a particular word or fact at the time, you can recall some of the path you took to get to it by associations. Your brain essentially tries to retrace its steps in order to find where it put that particular bit of information and retrieve it.
Molly Magoo. As a follow-up, then, when you give up and stop trying to remember the thing, why does it suddenly pop into your head a few hours or days later out of nowhere?
MC Anzi. In linguistics, this is called the tip of the tongue (TOT) phenomenon. When you want to speak, you'll figure out the meaning of what you want to say first. Later, the brain will go looking for the different words to create a sentence with that meaning. Each building block of that sentence is called a lemma. Each lemma can be expressed in different ways, depending on the language. For instance, the concept of table can be expressed as tavolo in Italian, mesa in Portuguese, and so on. TOT happens when the link between the concept and the actual form, i.e., what sounds you have to make to produce it, is somehow, temporarily, missing. This happens more frequently with words that are low frequency, so words that you don't use that often. And it has been found to happen more often with proper nouns, e.g. people's name we haven't thought about in a while, such as your old teacher, actor of a particular film, band names. The information is there, but for some reason, it's not retrieved immediately. Some details can be retrieved: first letter, syllable count, word length, but some takes more time. TOT can solve itself in matters of seconds, hours or days. I like cutting grass. EXplainLikeImFive. Why do humans generally tend to prefer complementary color schemes? Is there a particular reason our brains almost systematically reject pairings of colors that don't seem to go together, especially in living environments? Gubadon. The complementary colors are opposites: red, green, blue, yellow, orange. As you noted, this is fundamental to why we prefer them together and can be illustrated by After Effects or After Image. Essentially, when seeing a particular color, the receptors in your eyes that detect that color fatigue and strain, as they do, they detect less and less of that color. If you stare at a red dot for 30 seconds, and then look to a white area, you'll see a green dot after effect. This green dot is the result of the red receptors in your eyes being fatigued and not detecting the red light in the white area, leaving reds opposite to overdetect, or appear to. When we pair these two colors with each other, we in effect make it easier on our eyes to delineate the contrasting areas. We strain the opposite receptors at the same time. It leads to brighter contrasts and less blurring in your vision.
Jiggly meow. You have red, green and blue receptors for color in your eyes. Every color we see is made from a mixture of those three colors, since those are the wavelengths of light that those receptors can detect. When you see something blue, your blue receptors start sending signals to your brain that say blue, 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 blue. If you keep staring at something blue, the receptors start to get tired, and it's more like blue, 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 still blue, and they start sending a lot less blue signal. When your receptors get tired, that blue starts to look a bit washed out. If you stare at something blue for a while and then look at a white wall, you will see a yellow after image. The reason that you see yellow is because the other receptors, red and green, are still fresh and sending their signals just fine, taking turns shouting red, green, white is just a combination of all three primary colors. When the blue receptors are tired and all you are picking up now is red and green, they mix and give you a yellow result, which is why you end up with that yellow after image. Now after you stare at something blue, instead of looking at a white wall, look at something yellow. Because your blue receptors are tired, you will see a very pure yellow. Since blue isn't a part of yellow, any little bits of blue light that you see in there are going to alter the color a bit and make the yellow look sort of washed out. Since adding blue to a combination of red and green will just make white, you can swap any of the complementary colors in this scenario and it still works. I believe that when you see something with complementary colors like blue and yellow, you find it more pleasing because you are getting a more pure color signal of each being sent to your brain. As for why your brain finds that pleasing, I can't really say, but I imagine it has something to do with your brain being lazy. Since most things with your body tend to be about being more lazy or efficient, it's probably literally easier on your eyes to look at complementary colors since your receptors will get breaks sending signals as your eyes look at the opposing colors.
Mr. Bear 99. In terms of complementary colors, I believe it has to do with contrast since they are polar opposites on the color wheel. It means they are the furthest away from each other. Think blue, orange, red, green, yellow, purple.
Maybe something better. ExplainLikeImFive. How do braces stick to your teeth without seriously damaging the enamel upon removal?
Yimmy the tulip. Yeah, I'm a dental hygienist who has worked in orthodontics for the past 5 years. And while the flossing is good, brushing is key. Honestly, if you just do a decent job keeping the plaque, the white fuzzy stuff you can scrape off with your fingernails, off your teeth and around your braces, you'll never get those white spots. And as for the glue, it actually comes off very easily with a dental drill and a burr that is harder than the glue but softer than the enamel.
Holly LLL. Well, I had braces for 5 years and everyone who has heard the horror story that if you don't take care of your teeth while you have them, you'll have permanent spots when they are removed. I was sufficiently frightened and brushed and flossed like crazy. Had my braces off. No issues. Pretty teeth. Smooth. Thought it was just something orthodontists say until I had an APPT to fit my permanent retainer on a bottom and another girl was getting her braces off. Not a story. I'm sure some hardcore cleaning and whitening could have fixed it. But her teeth looked horrible with the white spots where the brackets were. She cried. I cried. Boo. They do damage the enamel though. I haven't had braces for 10 years now and I still have a little square on one of my front teeth. From the Monsieur, they don't do horrible damage and can be unglued easily. But they can impact the enamel unfortunately.
Dandy Gargoyle. ExplainLikeImFive. Why does squinting make vision clearer when you aren't wearing glasses, contacts? Egbear Herman. When you are short-sighted, the light is focused slightly away from your retina towards the center of your eye, making things seem blurry. Your pupil is a hole that focuses light into your retina. When you squint, you make the hole even smaller, focusing light back towards your retina. This balances the focusing error from your short-sightedness and you are temporarily able to see more clearly. Squinting is very straining for your sensitive eye muscles though, so I don't recommend doing it for long periods of time.
Hatchatharo. Same way a pinhole camera works, the smaller the hole gap, the sharper the image. As to how that works, try shining a light through a hole onto another surface. Say, a wall. The smaller the hole, the smaller the point of light on the wall. The smaller the point of light, the sharper it is. An image is essentially a lot of different colored lights going into your eye hole, pupil, and projected onto your eye wall, the retina. It's also got a lens to focus things properly, but in our case we can ignore it by giving it a smaller hole, by squinting or whatever. A sharper image is projected into your eye. Evil cockney. Light is in focus when all rays from each individual part of the image match, so you can tell which ray belongs to which part of the image, giving clear, distinct boundaries. There are two ways of doing this. You can either bend all of the light that doesn't match correctly, so that it now does. This is typically done with a lens. Or you can block out all of the light that doesn't match correctly, leaving you with only the light that does, giving you a better focused, but darker image, typically done with an aperture. Squinting is a good makeshift aperture. You can also try the same effect by making a small pin-size hole between the knuckles on your index finger and thumb, flexing your finger slightly to adjust the size of the hole, and you can see how it changes focus.
Mark Skywalker. ExplainLikeImFive. Why can eating far too much pineapple make your tongue bleed? What makes that happen? Furthermore, if you say in a tub full of pineapple, would your whole body bleed? No. Yellow snow. In the same way, pineapple juice can be used to tenderize meat by breaking down the surface proteins. Tongue, and non-other mucous membranes in your mouth, is also subjected to the same enzymatic action. The enzyme is bromelain. It's actually a self-defense mechanism for the plant, evolved in order to deter, kill predators by dissolving their mouthpieces and digestive tracts. Once the surface proteins are dissolved, the acidic nature of the pineapple is then what gets in and causes the irritation and bleeding for some. Gordon explosion. I've eaten a shitload of pineapple, and I never knew it was possible for one's tongue to bleed because of it. Your bloodline is weak, and you will be forgotten by history.
Master Blaster 2119. I just ate some pineapple with my chapped lips and they bled. I was weathing because that's never happened to me before. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.